Welcome to my YouTube channel, philippospan. Weekly tips and tricks on how to work with Microsoft Office applications. Be wise and subscribe. Today's video will be about Microsoft Word.
How to use the wrap text feature in a Microsoft Word document. When we insert an image in a Microsoft Word document and we need the text to flow around the specific image, we use the wrap text feature that is available. The wrap text feature works on any inserted image or other illustration that we have inserted in our document. When we want to position those objects though, and to place them and to make them stay where we want them, the whole procedure is very annoying. But as mentioned, the wrap text feature makes things more manageable for us. I have created a Microsoft Word document and I have inserted an image in it. To use the wrap text feature, I must first select the image, which we can tell by the 8 circle handles around it. Once selected, the Picture Format tab gets activated, where we select it and then locate the area of the ribbon from the far right named Arrange. In the middle of the Arrange area is located the command Wrap Text, where we can choose how the text wraps around the selected object. For example, we can choose to have the text continue around the object or cross right over it. Once we select the Wrap Text command, the drop-down menu appears with the commands. In line with text, it will line the image within the paragraph, like it does with text. We can move the image around in the page with the text flowing around it. Square. This will wrap the text around the image on all slides, sort of like it has a rectangular box around it. Tight. It is like the square wrap text, but the text will wrap around the edges of the image. We usually use it for images that are irregularly shaped. Through. It is like the tight wrap text, but the text will fill in all the white gaps that are in the image. Top and bottom. The text will wrap on the top and on the bottom of the images so that it is on its own line. We usually use it for images that are large and take most of the width of the page. Behind text, it will place the image behind the text, sort of like a watermark or a background image. In front of text, it will place the image in front of the text. Edit wrap points. When we select this option, we will see a red outline with black handles around the image. We can change the shape of the outline by dragging the black handles. Move with text. When we select this option, it allows the image to move on the page as text is added or deleted. Fix position on page. When we select this option, keeps the image in the same place on the page as text is added or deleted. More layout options. When we select this command, the layout dialog box appears with the text wrapping tab activated. The text wrapping tab is separated in 3 areas. Wrapping style area, with all the different wrapping styles that we can apply to the image and which are. In line with text, we have a preview thumbnail of how the images behaves with the text in the document. Square. We have a preview thumbnail of how the images behaves with the text in the document. Tight. We have a preview thumbnail of how the image behaves with the text in the document. Through. We have a preview thumbnail of how the image behaves with the text in the document. Top and bottom. We have a preview thumbnail of how the images behaves with the text in the document. Behind text, we have a preview thumbnail of how the image behaves with the text in the document. In front of text, we have a preview thumbnail of how the image behaves with the text in the document. Wrap text area. We can define where the wrap text will be applied, either on both sides, left only, right only, and largest only. Distance from text area. We can specify the exact distance that the image will have from the text, adjusting the top, bottom, left, and right distance. Whatever adjustments we do in the layout dialog box, we must press the OK button at the end for them to take place. And finally, at the bottom of the wrap text drop-down menu is the option Set as Default Layout. When we select this option, it will use the current wrap style and positioning option as a default for any new pictures, charts, or smart art graphics. Another way to use the wrap text feature is when we select an image or illustration, we activate the Layout tab. Then once again we locate the area at the far right of the Layout tab, named Arrange, and follow the same procedure.
Thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw in this video, go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you have any questions or suggestions, head down to the comment section and let me know. Be wise and subscribe.